Happy morning, children. I feel extremely delighted to welcome you all for this wonderful online learning. We are entering into our new lesson number 16, Plants and Animal Hormone. So, plant hormone is the first topic and which will be continued with the animal hormone. This plant hormone we will discuss in our live learning this morning, and in our link we are going to discuss about the animal hormone, that is the hormone on the glands, endocrine glands, exocrine glands, the various endocrine glands like pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, pancreas, adrenal, cortex, adrenal medulla, gonads, thymus. So all these glands, their secretions and the functions that they perform, all these things are going to be discussed in our today's link. At the end of the video, you will find question answers discussed. Kindly watch over it and complete your classwork in your classwork notebook, and then write a test in your assignment notebook. Hope you will enjoy learning this lesson, children. And as I've told you before, I want you to find out the answers for the 1-mark questions from the book. Write the page from where you found out the answers and take a screenshot of the page and send me for corrections. Let's let into the lesson. Let's explore knowledge. Come on, children. The topic that we are going to discuss today is going to be endocrine glands. Endocrine glands are the communication system which is used to coordinate, that is to connect physiological and metabolic activities by the chemical integration. This chemical, we call it as the hormone. These hormones are present in the specialized glands. So hormones are in the gland, which we call it as a chemical unity, which is used for the physiological, functional breaking up and building up process to communicate with each other. So that is what is going to happen in endocrine gland. This endocrine gland, the gland system is of two types. One is exocrine. These exocrine glands are called the duct gland. That is, they are contained in a container-like structure, in a tube-like structure. The various exocrine glands are salivary gland, mammary gland, and sweat glands. They are enclosed in a vessel, envelope-like appearance. Whereas endocrine glands are called ductless gland. They are poured directly. The hormones are in minute quantities and they are diffused into the blood. They are poured directly into the blood. They are not connected through tubes or vessels. And they are carried to a specific organ where it has to do its function. That specific organ is called the target organ. So in summary, endocrine glands are ductless gland. Exocrine glands are duct gland. The various exocrines are the salivary, mammary, and sweat. The various endocrine glands are pituitary gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, pancreas, which is also known as islets of Langerhans. Adrenal gland, we have got adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Then the gonads, which is of testis and ovary. And the last one is thymus gland. So 7 endocrine glands are there, which we will learn one by one in our today's class. Let's start with our first hormone called the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland or hypophysis is a pea-shaped compact mass of cell located at the base of a midbrain, attached to the hypothalamus of the pituitary stalk. You find it near the brain in the picture. This pituitary gland is automatically composed of 2 lobes. They are the anterior lobe adenohypophysis and the posterior lobe called the neurohypophysis. This pituitary gland forms the major endocrine gland in most vertebrate, and it controls other glands, so it is called the master gland. So pituitary gland is also known as master gland. This adenohypophysis secretes various hormones called growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, gonadotrophy hormone, and prolactin. So these are the various various hormones secreted by the adenohypophysis. Let's start with the growth hormone. Growth hormone, it stimulates the growth of the muscles, cartilage and long bones. The improper secretion of this hormone leads to dwarfism. It is caused due to decreased secretion of the hormone in the children, where the children will have stunted growth, delayed skeletal formation and mental disability. The next one would be gigantism. Over secretion of the hormone leading to gigantism in the children, where individuals attain abnormal increase in height. And the third one is acromegaly, where excess secretion of growth hormone in adult may lead to abnormal enlargement of head, face, hands and feet. So these are the various deformities which we see due to abnormal secretion of the growth hormone. Next, let's move to the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is also known as TSH. TSH controls the growth of thyroid gland, coordinates its activity and hormone secretion. Third one is adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. It stimulates adrenal cortex of the adrenal gland for the production of its hormone and influence the protein synthesis in the adrenal cortex. The fourth one is gonadotrophic hormone, GTH. It stimulates hormone and luteinizing hormone, which are essential for normal development of the gonads. So these are the stimulating hormones in three different areas. Follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, is a male, stimulates the germinal epithelium of testis for formation of sperms. In female, it stimulates the ovarian follicles and the development of the ovary. The last one is luteinizing hormone, LH. It promotes Leydig cells of the testis to secrete male sex hormone testosterone, and female it causes ovulation. The last one is prolactin, PRL, is called lactogenic hormone, which initiates development of mammary glands during pregnancy and stimulates the production of milk after childbirth. So these are the various glands that we find in the adenohypophysis. Let's move into neurohypophysis, that is the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. The hormones secreted by the posterior pituitary are vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone. The other one is oxytocin. So these are the two hormones, very important hormones. Vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone, it is ADH. In kidney tubules, it increases reabsorption of water, reduces loss of water through urine, and hence the name antidiuretic hormone. Deficiency of ADH reduces reabsorption of water and causes an increase in urine output, polyuria. The deficiency disorder is called diabetes insipidus. Oxytocin, it helps in the contraction of the smooth muscles of uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary gland after childbirth. So these are the two important hormones from the neurohypophysis. The thyroid gland is composed of two distinct lobes on either side of trachea, and this lobe is supported by a tissue called isthmus, and this thyroid gland has follicles with colloidal material called the thyroglobin. This thyroglobin has an amino acids tyrosine and iodine, which are involved in the formation of the thyroid hormone. The gland secretes hormone like triiodothyronine T3, tetradothyronine or thyroxine T4. So these are the two hormones secreted by the thyroid. The various functions of thyroid hormone is production and maintenance of basal metabolic rate, maintain normal body temperature, controls the activity of central nervous system, controls growth of the body and bone formation, essential for normal physical, mental and personality development, and it is also known as personality hormone. So thyroid hormone is known as personality hormone and it regulates cell metabolism. Thyroid dysfunction. When the thyroid gland fails to secrete the normal level of hormone, they are called as thyroid dysfunction. It leads to following condition. The first one is hypothyroidism. It is caused due to decreased secretion of the thyroid gland. The abnormality conditions are called goiter, cretinism and mycodema. Goiter is caused due to inadequate supply of iodine in our diet, and it is mostly in the Himalayan region. It leads to enlargement of thyroid gland, which protrudes as a marked swelling in the neck called the goiter. The second abnormality is cretinism. It is due to decreased secretion of the thyroid hormone in children, and it is a condition of stunt growth, mental defect and deformed bones. They are called as cretins. The third deformity would be myxedema. It is caused by the deficiency of thyroid hormone in adult. They are mentally sluggish, increase in body weight, puffiness of the face and hand, oedematous appearance. As we studied about the hypothyroidism, let's move to hyperthyroidism. This is caused due to excess secretion of the thyroid hormone, which leads to grave disease. The symptoms are protrusion of the eyeballs, which is called as exophthalmia, increased metabolism, high body temperature. Parathyroid gland are four small oval bodies situated on the surface of thyroid gland. You can see in the picture, on either side of the thyroid gland there are four lobes called the parathyroid. The chief cells of the glands are mainly concerned with secretion of parathormone. Let's see the function of this hormone. Regulates calcium and phosphorus metabolism in the body. They act on bone, kidney and intestine to maintain the blood calcium level. When the secretion is not normal, it results to parathyroid dysfunction. That is removal of parathyroid gland during thyroidectomy or removal of thyroid causes decreased action of parathormone. As a result, muscle swamp known as tetany, that is a sustained contraction of muscles in face, larynx, hand and feet occurs. Painful cramps on the limb muscle takes place. So these are the dysfunction. Let's move to the another beautiful hormone called the pancreas, islets of Langerhans. It is an elongated yellowish gland situated in the loops of stomach and duodenum. It is both exocrine and endocrine in nature, and they are secreting pancreatic juice, which plays an important role in the digestion. This pancreas has cells called islets of Langerhans containing two types of cells, namely alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cell secretes glycagon and beta cell secretes insulin. So these two are very important in maintaining the diabetes. A balance between insulin and glycogen production is necessary to maintain the blood glucose concentration. because insulin helps in conversion of glucose. It promotes transport of glucose into the cell. It decreases the concentration of glucose in the body. So these are the various insulin function. Glycagon helps in breakdown of glycogen to glucose in the liver, increase blood sugar level. Let's look into the disease called diabetes mellitus, which is caused due to deficiency of insulin causing diabetes. Mainly the five thing that happens is increase in blood sugar level called hyperglycemia, excretion of excess glucose in urine called glycosuria, frequent urination called the polyuria, increased thirst called polydipsia, and increase in appetite called the polyphagia. The next gland would be adrenal gland, which is located above the kidney. You can see in the picture on top of the kidney you find the adrenal gland. It is called a suprarenal gland as it is present above the kidney. Kidney is a renal organ, so it is called suprarenal gland. The outer part of the adrenal cortex and the inner part is the adrenal medulla. In the next picture you can find the brown color and the pale color. So the brown color is the inner part called the adrenal medulla, and the outer part, which is pale in color, is called the adrenal cortex. The two distinct parts are structurally and functionally different. So adrenal cortex consists of three layers. They are called zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. So three regions. Let me repeat again the three regions: zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. Hormones of adrenal cortex are cortisoids, and they are classified as glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Okay, the adrenal cortex hormones is called the corticosteroids, and it is divided of two types. One is glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoids. Let's look into the functions of this glucocorticoid, and it is from the fasciculated region cortisol or cortisosterone. They regulate cell metabolism. They stimulate formation of glucose from glycogen in the liver. So glucose is mainly secreted from this part. It is an anti-inflammatory and anti-allergic agent. Mineralocorticosteroids secreted by zona glomerulus is an aldosterone. Okay, it helps to reabsorb sodium ion from the renal tubules. It also causes excretion of potassium ion. So potassium ion is excreted by these mineralocorticoids. Let's look into adrenal medulla. This is composed of chromaffin cells richly supplied with sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. It secretes two types of hormones, namely epinephrine, adrenaline. The other one is norepinephrine, which is called noradrenaline. So these two enzymes together are called the emergency hormone. You will be getting this in your 1 mark question. It is produced during a condition of stress and emotion, hence it is also referred as flight, fright, fight hormone. First it is known as emergency hormone, also known as flight, fright, flight hormone. And the last part would be norepinephrine. The next gland would be reproductive glands called the gonads. They are also known as sex glands. It is of two types. One is testis and the other one is ovary. So testes are present in the male. It is a male reproductive organ. They are composed of seminiferous tubules, Leydig cells, and sertoli cells. So three cells are there: tubules, Leydig cells, and sertoli cells. These Leydig cells forms the endocrine part of the testis. So they are the gland hormone containing part. They secrete the male hormone called the testosterone. So testosterone is the male reproductive organ secreted from the seminiferous tubule. Let's see the functions of this testosterone. It influences the process of spermatogenesis, that is the formation of the sperms, male gamete. Stimulates protein synthesis and controls muscular growth, helps in muscles development. And it is also responsible for the secondary sexual character like hair on body and face, deep voice pattern, etc. So these are produced by the testosterone. Let's now look into the female reproductive gamete. Ovary. Ovary are the female gonads located in the pelvic cavity of the abdomen. So in the abdomen you got a cavity in which you find the gonads. They secrete the female sex hormone, estrogen and progesterone. So two glands are female one, that is estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen is produced by the Graafian follicles of the ovary and progesterone from the corpus luteum. So you have to know where these hormones are produced. So estrogen from Graafian follicles, progesterone from corpus luteum. Let's see the function. Estrogen brings changes during puberty and it helps in oogenesis. Oogenesis is formation of the egg. Maturation of ovarian follicles in the ovary and development of secondary sexual characters like breast development, high pitch voice. So all this comes under the estrogen. Let's see the functions of progesterone. It is responsible for premenstrual changes in the uterus. After the regular bleeding season, some changes takes place in the uterus. So this progesterone is responsible for that. It prepares the uterus for the embryo formation. It maintains pregnancy. It is essential for the formation of the placenta. So it's mainly related with the birth of a child. So premenstrual changes, embryo makes the uterus ready for the embryo development, maintains pregnancy and helps in the formation of the placenta. So these are the functions of the progesterone. The last endocrine gland would be thymus gland. So thymus is partly an endocrine gland and partly a lymphoid gland. Okay, it also comes under the lymphoid. It is located in the upper part of the chest, covering the lower end of trachea. That is our windpipe. Thymosin. Thymus gland secretes an hormone called thymosin. So you can find the lung duct with veins and arteries. In between them you find the thymus. So this thymus secretes an hormone called the thymosin. The main function of this thymosin is to stimulate the immune function, to give us the energy to overcome the infections. So immunity is increased by this hormone called the thymosin, and it also stimulates the production of differentiation of lymphocytes. Again, lymphocytes are the white blood cells which are called the soldier cells in our body. So thymosin stimulates the lymphocytes production. So as a whole, lymphosin helps in the immunity increase in our body.